each. Alpha, leader, I never imagined you were this powerful. Jiang Yi hadn't expected his flawless execution might have triggered Alpha's system dialogue. Jiang Yi tapped the small triangle icon and, to avoid interrupting his gameplay, quickly typed a few words. Basic skills, don't be a noob. Alpha was utterly confused. What did basic skills, don't get cocky even mean? Soon, relying on his exceptional skills, Jiang Yi fought his way from the top floor to the first floor, taking out over a dozen assassins. But judging by the situation, the number of assassins seemed far from over. Chapter 28, Battlefield Carnage. Combat system unlocked. This is interesting. Jiang Yi smiled faintly. He sidestepped behind a load-bearing column of the building. It seemed the enemy was determined to take his life this time. Footsteps echoed as Alpha arrived before Jiang Yi, accompanied by several members of the Guard Corps. Our deepest apologies, leader. Allowing these intruders to breach our defenses is a grave failure on our part. We humbly accept your punishment. Such an incident occurring was a grave dereliction of duty on Alpha's part. There was nothing more to say. He accepted the punishment willingly. After this incident, even if Jiang Yi were to execute him, he would have no complaints. None of your concern. Jiang Yi, however, shrugged indifferently. The waters run deeper than you imagine. Deeper than I imagined? What does that mean? Jiang Yi smiled faintly. You'll find out soon enough. For now, our priority is to eliminate this group. Jiang Yi's control over the main city was unquestionable. It was impossible for local personnel to get this close to the main city area without being detected. That leaves only one possibility. There was an enemy spy or traitor within the organization itself. After realizing the game's connection to reality, Jiang Yi conducted a brief investigation into the recent situation in the Dongzhou region. He learned that many nations in East Continent, to varying degrees, all bore signs of infiltration by hostile forces. Since taking command of the Hushi forces, he had never conducted an internal security review. Thus, the presence of a few spies and infiltrators was hardly surprising. What Jiang Yi hadn't anticipated was the sheer scale of their presence. With outdated equipment, such severe local infiltration, and personnel quality inferior to regular troops, it was a miracle the Hushi militia had managed to develop at all. Jiang Yi shook his head. This incident served as a wake-up call for him, prompting him to decide on a thorough purge of internal elements afterward. Then, Jiang Yi continued controlling his character, stepping out of the main city building, intending to confront these enemies head-on. FPS games were his specialty. Back when he competed in the city tournament, Jiang Yi had crushed his opponents, stepping over their heads to easily claim the championship. No bull. Near the main city was a temporary training ground Jiang Yi usually assigned to Alpha and his team for soldier drills. It featured specially designed simulated battlefields. Jiang Yi rolled over, easily vaulting the perimeter wall and stepping inside. On the other side, several figures clad in black special forces uniforms emerged from the darkness, wielding various assassination weapons. Under the cover of darkness, they moved like ghosts. He's inside. Move out. At the leader's command, the entire team charged into the training ground. And this was precisely what Jiang Yi wanted to see. In the darkness, Jiang Yi pulled the trigger. The bullet left the barrel, instantly blowing the head off the first man to charge in. Blood mixed with brain matter and various unidentifiable fluids splattered everywhere. The stench of blood was nauseating. Everyone stared in horror, utterly stunned. Damn it, he's right there. He spotted us, watch out. The assassins scrambled for cover. Within the training grounds, they scattered behind various theatrical props. Jiang Yi hid behind a makeshift barrier of discarded tires. Hide? Do you even know how to hide? 2 at 3 o'clock, 1 at 6 o'clock, 2 at 11 o'clock. If someone were observing this from a god's eye view, one would assume Jiang Yi was surrounded. But in reality, Jiang Yi had them surrounded. Alpha and his men had also entered the training grounds with their team, intending to use their familiarity with the terrain to annihilate the enemy. He had several subordinates split into 4 groups, attacking from different directions. Within 3 minutes at most, reinforcements from the base would arrive. By then, not a single one of these assassins would escape. Alpha chambered a round in his pistol. Suddenly, bang! The deafening gunfire echoed in everyone's ears. Alpha sensed trouble immediately. Leader! But immediately after, he heard the agonized screams of several assassins. Ah! Jiang Yi stepped over several bodies, quickly crouched down, and picked up the handguns they'd dropped. He reloaded the magazines, then vanished into the darkness with a swift blur. Alpha's eyes widened in shock. How could the leader be this strong? He couldn't comprehend it. The remaining assassins lurking in the shadows all showed subtle shifts in their expressions at that moment. They hadn't expected their assassination target to be this ridiculously powerful. After a quick consultation, they decided to act swiftly and decisively. They converged toward the direction he had just fled. He couldn't have moved that quickly, so he was likely still in the original spot. Soon, the group met in the darkness. Scanning their surroundings, they found nothing but the bodies of several victims Jiang Yi had just killed. Damn it! When did that bastard move? Right under their noses? Could he possibly be invisible? Waiting for me? Jiang Yi's voice, as calm as a breeze on a cloudless day, drifted out of the darkness. The others looked stunned, as if they'd seen a ghost. As professional assassins, they reacted within fractions of a second, firing multiple shots toward the source of the voice. But the bullets missed, embedding themselves into the wall. Then, a shadow suddenly burst forward, materializing before the group. Jiang Yi grabbed one of them. On the screen, the prompt hand-to-hand combat appeared. Jiang Yi needed to react in an instant. Jiang Yi narrowed his eyes and swiftly operated the screen with both hands. This game is so cool. Beyond first-person gunfights, it even featured close-quarters combat. Inside the training ground, Alpha finally located Jiang Yi's position and prepared to rush over to protect him. But in the darkness, Jiang Yi wraps his arms around one of the attackers and slams him over his shoulder. Thud! The impact landed squarely on the assassin's neck. The man thrown over the shoulder spat out mouthfuls of blood and breathed his last. The remaining assassins were even more stunned. Is this even human? How could he move so fast? Before they could react, Jiang Yi deftly sidestepped several bullets, then propelled himself off the wall with a powerful kick, soaring into the air. Mid-air, he seized one of their wrists. He hoisted the man like a sandbag and slammed him hard onto the ground. The immense impact caused blood to gush from all 7 orifices. Alpha was utterly stunned. He couldn't believe this was the leader he usually saw. Too powerful. As a professional Special Forces soldier, his skills placed him among the absolute elite of the world's top Special Forces operatives. Yet at this moment, he realized that if he were to face the leader in combat, he might not stand a chance. Put. As Jiang Yi snapped the last man's neck, the battle came to an end. Jiang Yi clapped his hands, brushing off the dust, cleaning out the battlefield. Leaving behind a parting remark, he departed with effortless grace. The screen returned to normal. Jiang Yi took a deep breath. This was more thrilling, more real than any fighting game he'd ever played. If only he could experience real combat like this. Jiang Yi sighed in admiration. A prompt suddenly appeared on the screen. Host successfully completed an assassination mission. Congratulations on unlocking Combat System. Chapter 29, New Ability, Stand Manifestation. Sandstorm Retreats. Combat System? What is this? Could it be a system that unlocks combat skills or something? If so, that'd be awesome. It'll make dominating the game a breeze. Jiang Yi couldn't wait to click and check. Combat System. Description: using this feature, the host can summon a stand-in to perform actions personally. Restrictions: requires prestige points and has a time limit. The longer the summon lasts, the more prestige points consumed. Initial summon cost 800 prestige points. Subsequent reputation cost per minute 50. Jiang Yi, lost in thought. So using this feature would allow him to directly summon his stand-in character in Dongzhou and take the field himself? Jiang Yi was stunned. Could it be that coincidental? He'd just been thinking how thrilling it would be if he could personally descend. Way more fun than playing a game. And now the system tells me it could actually happen? Jiang Yi had assumed it was unlocking some combat system or acquiring divine fighting techniques. Turns out his expectations were way too conservative. But Jiang Yi soon realized this feature wasn't so simple. Because it required prestige points to summon it. And the prestige points consumed per invocation? For Jiang Yi, that was no small sum. The initial startup alone costs 800, with an additional 50 required per minute thereafter. In other words, a single descent costs 1,300 over 10 minutes. Consider this. That could buy you over a dozen concept tanks in the prestige store. Jiang Yi cursed inwardly, unsure whether to voice it aloud. Hidden overview. What the hell is this? Just as Jiang Yi was mentally ranting, a faint notification below suddenly caught his attention. He tapped to open it. Note: if the host dies during the descent period, the game will end immediately. If the host has not descended and their avatar in the game is injured, health will be deducted based on the severity of the damage. Health will regenerate automatically over time, or items can be purchased for rapid health restoration. If the host's avatar dies in the game will also end. However, the host can purchase one health lock opportunity. Once activated, even if the avatar suffers the most severe damage, even if it directly confronts a nuclear bomb, it will retain 1 health point, preventing death. Cost to activate 1 life lock, 100000000. Due to the unique nature of this feature, hosts are advised to use it only when absolutely necessary. After reading this, Jiang Yi finally understood what the system meant. First, if the avatar descends and dies after appearing in Dongzhou, game over. The system didn't specify whether Jiang Yi himself would also die. But Jiang Yi understood the consequences would undoubtedly be severe. Game over. Who knows if it can even restart. Second, the stand mechanism in the game. Healing after taking damage was standard gameplay. He'd been attacked once before, lost some health, and recovered quickly. Jiang Yi hadn't paid it much mind at the time. Looking back now, he'll have to be more cautious in the future. Because if the stand dies in the game, it's game over. This mechanism, similar to the legendary blade, grants 1 chance to avoid death upon purchase. Even a nuclear bomb. To be honest, when he saw this, Jiang Yi was tempted. This is too powerful. It's practically like cheating. But Jiang Yi quickly reined himself in. Because the price was completely out of his budget. $1 million per session? Way too expensive. Still, having it was better than nothing. What if, someday in the future, this technique proved crucial at a critical moment? Huff. Jiang Yi set down his phone and took a deep breath. The game was far more complex than he'd imagined, with a much more comprehensive set of mechanics. This made Jiang Yi ponder another question. Whether it was the powerful ground-to-air defense systems or the bug-level force field energy shields that could dominate the entire world, were strategic equipment. To protect himself, Jiang Yi realized he had to start with his own capabilities. The Lighthouse Nation is formidable, right? But even the presidents of the Lighthouse Nation keep getting assassinated one after another. This highlights a crucial point. No matter how powerful strategic weapons are, they're useless. Because if someone wants to take you out, all they need is an opening, just one shot. This time the game gave an assassination warning, but next time it might not. I need to enhance this stand-in's survival capabilities. Jiang Yi murmured. His dominance over Dongzhou at this stage, he was still far too crucial. 2 approaches. 1. Start by strengthening myself. Make the stand exceptionally powerful, impervious to assassination attempts, capable of effortlessly handling similar situations. The other approach. As the saying goes, the best defense is a good offense. Therefore, Jiang Yi could only think of taking the initiative. Why not try both? Choosing is for children. Jiang Yi was an adult now. I want them all. He tapped open the Fame Shop. Reputation store. Jiang Yi began searching for items that could enhance his personal defense. Things like armor boosts or health increases. As a game at its core, Jiang Yi believed the shop should offer such items. Not long after, the entire high-level conference hall of Shashi fell into complete silence. They were awaiting a single piece of news. Just then, a message finally appeared on the screen. After reading the battle report, Solomon and everyone else were stunned. Another failure? Salman slammed his fist on the table in fury, his eyes bloodshot. What the hell was going on? Useless. A bunch of useless fools. With so many of you, you couldn't take down a single man? What the hell were you doing? If he had harbored doubts about the previous campaigns. But this time, he was truly at a loss for words. First, Jiang Ye's defense systems had rendered them utterly helpless. The new fighter jets he just acquired from Lighthouse Dad were gone, all of them. Then the missiles meant to strike the main city vanished mysteriously. Their frontline department had been investigating since the incident began, yet they still hadn't uncovered any leads. Beyond the fact that the missiles vanished in an inexplicably bizarre manner, they knew nothing else. Finally, the assassination mission also failed. A team of elite special forces, 6 or 7 top-tier professional assassins. This kind of setup would be more than sufficient to assassinate high-ranking officials in most countries anywhere in the world. They simply couldn't comprehend it. How could this have failed? Mr. President, perhaps we should withdraw our forces first. Harvey, silent below the podium, realized that if they didn't withdraw now, once the Hushao forces regained their footing in organized resistance, even the aircraft bombing the main city district might be wiped out entirely there. Salman trembled with rage. Withdraw. Withdraw immediately. Ultimately, the last shred of reason prevailed. Solomon ordered all aircraft to withdraw from Yamen in disgrace. Chapter 30, One man takes out an entire assassin corps? Leader. The Sand Clan has retreated. Jiang Yi returned to the lounge, resting while browsing the shops. Alpha entered with his men, having obtained Jiang Yi's permission, and reported. Got it. Jiang Yi hummed in acknowledgement. They got out fast. Jiang Yi had actually intended to send someone to take out Shash's bomber. Since they got away, it's no use now. There'll be plenty of chances later to make Shashi bleed properly. Leader, regarding this incident. Alpha suddenly dropped to his knees and began pleading for forgiveness. This time, his dereliction of duty was severe, and he was willing to accept punishment. Alright then, your punishment will be 1 day of confinement. There's no doubting the loyalty of someone like Alpha after all, he was a system reward. The more loyal he is, the more he'll dwell on this matter. Jiang Yi's symbolic punishment would actually ease his mind. Understood. Thank you for your punishment, leader. After following Jiang Yi these past days, Alpha's speech had even picked up a hint of that Dragon Nation flavor. After Alpha and the others left, Jiang Yi continued browsing the store. Before long, he finally found what he considered the most suitable option. A suit of protective gear radiating sci-fi flair. Quantum shield protective suit. Functional principle. Built-in energy generator utilizes quantum entanglement technology to form a powerful energy field around the suit. Unlike traditional physical shields, this force field operates at the quantum level, effectively dispersing and resisting external impacts and energy damage. Characteristics: precise adjustment and response of the energy field under varying conditions to adapt to diverse complex attack forms. Usage restrictions. Due to high energy consumption, continuous operation time is limited. Usage timing must be strategically planned. Maintenance and care. Regular inspections are required to ensure energy module stability and circuit integrity. Follow-up maintenance. Automatic repair equipment can be purchased. One-click repairs are possible as long as the equipment damage rate does not exceed 70%. Maximum damage absorption. Can withstand frontal impacts from Barrett armor-piercing rounds and fully block certain small-area explosive rounds. Exchange. Over 600 prestige points spent. Worth mentioning. Since the last declaration was issued, the impact has continued to this day, with Jiang Yi accumulating over 4,000, but less than 5,000 prestige points. After subtracting recent scattered expenditures, approximately 3,500 remain. Congratulations! You have obtained Quantum Shield Protective Suit. Next, a silver-white protective suit appeared on the screen. Jiang Yi could rotate it in 3D to examine every angle. The suit featured an overall streamlined design with a metallic texture. Its surface featured subtly shimmering patterns and several semi-concealed, adjustable module interfaces. It looked pretty cool on the outside. But could this thing? Can it really withstand a Barrett? After all, the Barrett is hailed as the king of sniper rifles, and its armor-piercing rounds can even penetrate some tank armor. Of course, Jiang Yi wouldn't doubt the system's claims. After all, the system was full of even more outrageous items than this. So defending against a Barrett wasn't exactly surprising. The only drawback is, this thing has limitations. It can be damaged. While it can be repaired, if the damage rate gets too high, according to the system's description, it should become irreparable. Well, at least it's sufficient for now. Being able to withstand Barrett rounds means Jiang Yi can disregard any other hidden weapons. As for the rest, who uses missiles for assassination anyway? No need to worry at all. With his safety assured, Jiang Yi moved on to the next phase of his plan. Take the offensive. Attacking Shatan directly first seemed impractical to Jiang Yi. The Yamen government forces stood between them. If he attacked Shasha, the Yamen government forces would undoubtedly interfere constantly. Jiang Yi needed a stable base of operations. He needed a secure base of operations. Therefore, unifying Yamen and ending over a decade of internal strife became crucial. As for how to proceed, he recalled how previous campaigns had garnered favorable international attention. Jiang Yi reasoned that he could easily follow the same approach. The combat effectiveness of the Yamen government forces was nothing to be concerned about. In truth, Jiang Yi believed unifying Yamen would not prove particularly difficult. In terms of combat strength, he could easily sweep aside several Yamen government forces. Capturing the current government president alive would be no problem. But Jiang Yi needed a suitable opportunity and a reasonable justification for action. This would help him avoid international backlash. Otherwise, if international backlash were to strike now, it would still cause Jiang Yi some trouble. Jiang Yi's current influence wasn't yet vast enough to ignore the entire world. Of course, what is impossible now does not mean it will remain so forever. Once Jiang Yi gains the power to dominate the world, what public opinion? As proven by experience, when you're powerful enough, even if you're mired in controversy, people will step forward to bail you out. Power reigns supreme. There's no way around it. Jiang Yi couldn't even bother to complain. This damn world is just that brutal. Several hours after the incident, all combat data from the front lines had been transmitted back. Salman immediately reconvened all high-ranking officials of the Sandhold for an emergency meeting. The others hadn't even had time to rest properly. They were urgently summoned back. Compounded by the recent barrage of high-intensity meetings, each of them bore heavy dark circles under their eyes, looking utterly drained. Only Solomon and a handful of hardliners seemed energized, their bloodshot eyes showing no sign of fatigue. Over an hour passed. After layer upon layer of analysis, the conclusion left Solomon and his group silent, once more a bit hard to swallow. The primary reason they would lose this battle? The Hush armed forces. Those Hush fighters possessed superior equipment more advanced than their own. Yes. A group of Hutu militants so impoverished they could only afford flip-flops possessed equipment more luxurious than theirs. How could they, long regarded as the tycoons of East Continent, possibly accept this? Where on earth did their gear come from? Did they really scavenge it from the desert? But that doesn't make sense either. Everyone's in the desert, so why would you be the only ones to find it? Ah, right. Harvey then pulled out a USB drive containing a video recording. This is the final video transmitted by the soldier we assassinated before he died. I've copied it onto this drive. Oh, play it. Salam couldn't wait a moment longer. The staff inserted the USB drive and played the video on the large screen. The footage was lengthy, starting from the moment they began their mission. Salman had them skip to the crucial part. The progress bar reached the final segment. In the darkness, they encountered the leader of the Hushai armed group. Just as they expected a fierce battle to erupt, a shadowy figure, its face indistinct, darted and twisted like a ghost. Before the men could react, they fell one after another. The opponent's strikes were ruthless, each blow lethal. Shrieks pierced the air. Hair-raising screams. All coming from their own men. After watching the video, Solomon and the others all turned pale. Is this even human? One person took out all their assassins and entire special forces unit? Chapter 31, Trending? Reputation skyrockets, manifestation succeeds. After witnessing this, Shash's stance on the matter underwent a complete reversal. Initially, they all believed the Hushai forces were no threat. With their latest weapons, they could easily crush the Hushai militia. But what unfolded afterward? They witnessed it all with their own eyes. The Sandal leadership was as frantic as ants on a hot stove, pacing in circles. Left with no choice, they had to devise a long-term strategy. That night, none of them could sleep. Jiang Yi, however, slept soundly and woke up the next morning feeling refreshed and alert. As was his habit, the first thing he did upon waking was check the news. The events unfolding in Dongzhou were indeed reported once more. Shades suffered a crushing defeat. Suffered heavy losses. With the recent instability in East Continent, it had long become a global hotspot. So now that the incident has occurred, media outlets of all sizes worldwide are scrambling to cover it frantically. Overnight, it became a global trending topic once more. Jiang Yi, you're finally awake. Wang Hai, the bunk below, beamed with excitement upon seeing Jiang Yi awake. You have no idea, another major incident happened last night. Ever since a few days ago, Wang Hai noticed Jiang Yi had started paying attention to military affairs, whether intentionally or not. He thought his recommendations had paid off, sparking Jiang Yi's own interest in military affairs. Now, whenever anything happened, he almost always told Jiang Yi about it. Wang Hai pulled out his phone and eagerly tapped away at the screen. In no time, he pulled up a video. Take a good look at this top-secret footage, he urged. I managed to get it from overseas sources. It's not available domestically yet. Jiang Yi wondered what it could be. Taking the phone from Wang Hai, he saw it was footage of his operation to create a decoy and then turn the tables on the assassins. Though no one knew better than Jiang Yi what had transpired last night. But recalling his own brilliant maneuvers from the previous night, Jiang Yi still felt it was worth revisiting, so he watched it carefully. The video showed one spectacular counterattack after another, each attack so unexpected that someone unfamiliar with the situation might think it was a tokusatsu movie. Damn, if this plot were in a movie, I'd call it a masterpiece. Wang Hai couldn't help but sigh in genuine admiration. Man, I'm getting more and more impressed with this guy. First he leads the Hush armed forces in all these big moves, and then he's this strong himself. I bet those dumb foreigners watching this footage are all shot. Taking down nice on an empty stomach? Ha! Jiang Yi chuckled and handed the phone back to Wang Hai. Is he really that godlike? Seriously? Is that even up for debate? This Wang Hai guy has clearly become a die-hard fan. You must be one of those online trolls, right? How is this not god tier? Those were professional assassins. For an ordinary person, 10 lives wouldn't be enough. I get it now, this guy is definitely a martial arts master too. I always said there's a reason our ancestors passed down these traditions. Jiang Yi shook his head, looking at Wang Hai's earnest expression, feeling both amused and exasperated. He didn't bother arguing with him. Jiang Yi had actually seen this video already last night. In fact, most of those assassins died instantly, never getting the chance to send the footage back to Shashi. Who do you think did this? Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi's motive was simple, to cause a stir and re-prestige points. Judging by the reaction, it seems to have worked quite well. With that thought, Jiang Yi hurriedly pulled out his phone to check his prestige points. Current prestige points, 7,654. Over 7,000 already? Jiang Yi's eyes lit up with wild excitement. Rounded up, that's 8,000 prestige points in the bag. The situation was still unfolding, so he should be able to rake in another wave of points. Fatso, lend me your ladder. Jiang Yi said. Accessing foreign websites required a VPN, and this guy used Twitter daily. He was an expert in this field. Wang Hai quickly sent over the VPN. After Jiang Yi finished downloading it, he browsed the foreign internet. The discussion on the foreign internet had shifted. What started as widespread concern over the Dongzhou situation had shifted to discussions about Jiang Yi himself. Top trending topic. Current leader of the Hush armed forces. Scrolling through the comments below. Holy crap, is this guy really some kind of god? How is he this strong? Single-handedly wiped out an entire assassin legion. Mysterious Dragon Nation man, is this how you dismantle an enemy force? Unbelievable. Oh god, look at the monster you've created. How come he's so strong when he's just human? Hey, up there, people from the Dragon Kingdom don't believe in God. They say Nuwa created humanity. So you should ask Nuwa why there's such a huge gap between people when we're all human. Ahem. In my opinion, this guy can't be from the Dragon Kingdom. Dragon Kingdom people couldn't possibly be this powerful. He looks more like one of us Koreans. TSK, classic. Well said. After all, the theory that everything originated in Korea remains unchallenged to this day. Jiang Yi shook his head with a smile. Tang's comments on foreign forums were equally mind-blowing, especially from the Koreans. All I can say is, consistent as ever. He reopened the game. At this moment. Notice, oil drilling equipment manifestation countdown complete. Finally done? Jiang Yi only just remembered this since the materialization countdown had spanned several days. It nearly slipped his mind entirely. Very well, then. Jiang Yi decided against materializing it for now. Such a massive set of equipment would require a suitable location to store it all. Instead, he checked the armory. Construction had begun immediately after its completion last time, but progress was painfully slow. Jiang Yi realized this approach wouldn't work. He had already formulated his next plan, recruiting troops to expand his forces. He decided to spend 1,000 reputation points to accelerate the process. Abujul, issue the conscription order. To all who join us, I pledge the most advanced weaponry. We will ensure all basic provisions and offer benefits unmatched elsewhere. Abujul, understood, Commander. After Abujul left, Jiang Yi clicked on the construction mode. Last night's events made Jiang Yi realize the training ground was still too rudimentary. Therefore, he planned to construct a new training ground with more comprehensive facilities and functionalities. One that could help him rapidly train outstanding soldiers, non-commissioned officers, and so on. He couldn't send new recruits straight into battle without proper training. That would be nothing short of sending them to their deaths. Super large training ground. Capacity, accommodates 10,000 trainees simultaneously expandable. Talent. Soldier training bonus, plus 12%. NCO training bonus, plus 15%. Construction time, 15 days. The stats are quite good, training soldiers and such, plus special bonuses. Jiang Yi was quite satisfied. This can train elite troops in a short time. But the construction time is a full fortnight. Forget it, build it. Training camp under construction. Prestige points, 700. Chapter 32, Arrival at Yamen, Review of the Troops. After finishing all this, Jiang Yi stretched lazily on his bed before rolling over and leaving the dorm. Just moments ago, the counselor had sent a message. For the innovation technology competition he had entered, all participants were required to formally submit their materials today. On his way there, Jiang Yi kept flipping through documents, examining the detailed specifications of this fully automated oil extraction system within the game. Materializing the entire extraction system for submission was impractical. However, materializing one specific component would be perfectly feasible. Soon, Jiang Yi settled on what he wanted. Materialize. Materialization successful. Just like last time, he needed to pick it up by claiming a package. Jiang Yi arrived at the school gate and indeed received his package. Upon opening it, he found a small piece of novel gel material neatly packaged in an elegant box. Then, instead of delivering the material immediately, Jiang Yi headed to the library. Finding an empty spot, he pulled out paper and pen. He began writing down his understanding and analysis of this material on the paper. Of course, all of it was copied from the game system. Jiang Yi did this because he feared that if he submitted the material directly, the higher-ups wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't grasp its potential or practical applications. If that happened, wouldn't Jiang Yi's goal be unattainable? To ensure absolute certainty, Jiang Yi swiftly completed all the content, then put away his paper and pen, his eyes quickly scanning over the written material. Intelligence self-adaptive gel material. This material exists as a relatively fluid, transportable sol gel substance under normal conditions, capable of being piped to designated locations such as underground wells. Upon reaching the target location, it can be triggered by environmental factors such as temperature, pressure, or specific chemical signals to rapidly self-assemble and cross-link into a high-strength three-dimensional gel network structure. In my conception, this material could be applied to the following functions. Mining assistance. When encountering complex multi-fractured or porous channels during extraction, this material can adaptively form gel seals at these locations. This prevents subsequent injected oil displacement fluids such as gas or chemical flooding agents from leaking ineffectively into non-targeted oil-bearing zones. Consequently, displacement pressure and fluid dynamics are concentrated in areas with high oil saturation, enhancing oil recovery efficiency. Due to its controllable gel strength, the material can moderately compress to absorb excess downhole pressure, preventing wellbore collapse or casing damage. Upon pressure reduction, it restores its shape to maintain sealing functionality. Information feedback. This material can incorporate or be combined with nanoscale sensors to detect parameters such as local pressure, temperature, and chemical concentration. Data is transmitted to surface receivers via specific electromagnetic frequencies, enabling oilfield personnel to monitor real-time extraction dynamics and reservoir conditions across different wellbore zones. Characteristics. Upon completing its extraction mission, the material can be rendered biodegradable by introducing specific degradation triggers such as engineered fibers or chemical agents that rapidly disintegrate its gel structure into harmless small molecules. This makes it recyclable after surface processing. It can be reprocessed into new smart adaptive gel material for subsequent extraction operations, achieving reusability. Due to time constraints, I will continue to refine the subsequent application and prospects of this material. Perfect. Jiang Yi packed up his belongings. A revolutionary new material. Jiang Yi could guarantee that with its high-strength controllability, the ability to incorporate nanoscale materials, pollution-free biodegradability, and reusability, its applications extend far beyond oil extraction. In today's Dragon Nation, where heavy and light industries are rapidly advancing, its potential applications extend far beyond that. Submitting this material would likely cause quite a stir among the higher-ups. Half an hour later, Jiang Yi met with the counselor, handed over the materials, exchanged a few pleasantries, and then left. The counselor took Jiang Yi's item without much thought. Her original intention in inviting him to participate. Her intention was merely to fill the numbers. After labeling it with Jiang Yi's information, she handed it over to the event organizer, the state. He had no classes scheduled for the entire day. Instead of returning to the dorm, Jiang Yi walked out of the campus gates and spent some time at a nearby coffee shop. During that time, two pot-bellied middle-aged men nearby started bragging about military matters, mentioning the situation in Dongzhou. Jiang Yi shook his head and smiled. It seemed the recent events were indeed heating up. Opening the game, he saw his reputation points had risen by about 1,300 since this morning. His prestige points were now close to 8,000. Meanwhile, the recruitment notice Jiang Yi had a bugel post was yielding good results. The army's size had expanded by several thousand more. Gazing at the vast, sprawling armies on the map, Jiang Yi couldn't deny feeling a surge of excitement. A man's ambition knows no bounds who hasn't imagined themselves as a commander-in-chief, leading thousands into battle? Should he splurge and use a descent avatar? Jiang Yi was genuinely tempted. After all, his prestige had already reached 8,000. At this rate, it would likely keep rising. Spending a little wouldn't hurt. The first summoning only required 800 prestige points. But the main thing was, Jiang Yi desperately wanted to witness in reality just how magnificent his own army would be. Jiang Yi issued orders to a bugel. A bugel, organize a city-wide military parade in 1 hour. After sitting quietly in the coffee shop for over an hour, Jiang Yi timed his exit perfectly. He left the cafe and found a secluded spot. From the options, he selected the descent system. Summon avatar. Jiang Yi clicked the option. Instantly, his vision flickered. He felt the world spin violently. When his sight returned, he discovered the surroundings had undergone a complete transformation. He was in an office, an old desk, aged flooring, and a retro Arabian-style pendant lamp. This was the exact office scene from the game. Jiang Yi had imagined many ways to manifest, but never expected it to be this direct. Had he been teleported here? At that moment, a middle-aged man dressed in a green military uniform entered the office. "Commander, the parade is ready to begin." Very well. This was the first time Jiang Yi had seen Abdullah in person. Led by Abdullah, Jiang Yi ascended to the fourth-floor balcony of the main city building. From this vantage point, he could survey the entire straight street below.